Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, this is the Daily Doocy Podcast. For today, Tuesday, February 23rd, we are out of Facebook jail. I had a 24-hour Facebook jail for telling a buddy of mine in complete jest and satire that he was a white racist piece of shit. And it's actually a big problem. Now, again, we touched on it yesterday, and I'm going to kind of just blow through this. We've got a quick podcast for today. But having all these sites run just very tight bots and just computers that are looking for these words in any sort of context. So it doesn't matter. I honestly want to go on there and try and just post, I am testing this to see if I get banned, space, you're a piece of shit, and tag somebody in it and see if it fucking picks it up, because I'm pretty sure it does. Now, I'm okay with that in theory. I think having fucking Facebook and IG start to be these fucking puritanical fucking centers where you can't say shit on them is a big problem. But the bigger problem is they're not reading into context whatsoever. And they ban you. They don't actually look at the appeal. And then you just have to wait. Now, I couldn't even access this page, any of the other business pages that I run. So that's a big problem. Now, it's not actually costing me too much money, but theoretically, it could actually cost you money if you can't access your pages. So even with no context, you joking around to one of your friends, you cannot talk shit to your friends on Facebook anymore because you will get put in Facebook jail. So hopefully you take this video and share it around a little bit so it actually gets up to fucking Facebook people. But as of right now, you are not allowed to joke or talk shit to your friends on Facebook. You will get banned. So hopefully moving on to this story, we just start... Actually, I'm going to be careful where I go on here. Anywho, U.S. Army is building the world's most powerful laser weapon. These lasers would emit bullet-like pulses of light that would exterminate the target. Love it. It appears the U.S. Army is developing and building a laser weapon capable of vaporizing its targets and disrupting enemy tech signals thanks to pulses and signals. This may well be the world's most powerful laser to date. The Tactical Ultra-Short Pulsed Laser for Army Platforms, otherwise known as TUPLOP, as the laser system will be called, will be 1,000,000 times more powerful than any laser platform before it. Jesus Christ. The pilots, first of all, like pilots and crews, like while they're wonderful, they're also kind of crazy lunatics. So we used to, when I worked at the hotel in the Meadowlands, people don't realize 80% of the hotel rooms in the direct Meadowlands, within Teterboro area, all go to pilots and people who are coming in and going from Teterboro. On Sundays, you get people from the game, and there's a lot of business stuff like that. But the large majority of those people staying in those hotels are the pilots. And a lot of them are really great people, but some of them are fucking lunatics. A lot of ex-military people, a lot of PTSD. We had a guy put a fucking, like a Bowie knife into the wall one time. We had the cops come multiple times for people shining these fucking little tiny lasers out at airplanes. So a little handheld laser that you can get has the ability to, not bring down an aircraft on the laser strength itself, but it certainly could blind the pilots and cause a lot of big problems. And now these are 1,000,000 times more stronger than that. And I mean, what have we been waiting for? Where has this been? I'm surprised we actually still shoot like bullets at things, because I mean, it says that it'll be better at shooting drones and things like that, because those things are going to be booking, babe. And we're not going to be shooting bullets at that. Like, we need lasers that move like a millisecond. Or actually, the new system is being designed to reach a terawatt for a short 200 femtoseconds, 1/4,000,000th of a second. 1/4,000,000th of, I don't even understand what that means. That was just 1,000 of them. In that time, the UPSL, I prefer Tupsel, but whatever, would be able to vaporize a drone. On top of that, the hope is that it'll also be able to disrupt electronic systems in its vicinity, turning into a functional electromagnetic pulse. Oh, Jesus Christ. So this laser not only will vaporize metal and electronics, it's also a fucking EMP. What happens if we fuck up and we EMP ourselves? Good Lord. As far as the report states, the U.S. is aiming to trial a prototype by 2022. Such types of laser weapons are extremely useful when combating fast-moving, small drones or missiles, explains New Scientist. And when it comes to using them against human enemies, they can cause a number of reactions from skin irritations to blindness or evaporation. Because if it's evaporating a fucking metal drone, our little fucking meat sacks are going to go up real fast. The hope is to develop an UPSL that's big enough, has enough power and ruggedization to be used on Army platforms. On top of that, this type of laser will be able to vaporize the outer casing of a drone rather than melt it as current laser systems do. It's not the first time laser systems are mentioned, even in the military, and it's clear to see that type of weapon is gaining more and more attention and focus as time goes on. So, I mean, I guess it's good for the environment because we're not like being total pieces of shit and like building metal weapons and bullets that we can't then go and recycle the bullets. Fucking pieces of shit. So I guess the Army is getting a little woke and a little environmentalist by building laser weapons that are just going to completely evaporate and destroy all the metal and the straight white males. So on to the next story of something that might also evaporate a lot of straight white males these days. Bitcoin falls to 45K in sequel to 20% Bitcoin price crash. So not a great day in the market or in the crypto market at all. Okay, the stocks are doing fucking real shitty. Crypto's doing real shitty. I don't even want to look at my fucking portfolio again. Bitcoin at 223 on 223. 46,691 down 13% for the day. Ethereum 1495 down 15% for the day. XRP down 20% for the day. And Doge down to 4 cents at down 16% for the day. Now again, a couple months ago when Bitcoin was in the 20s, if you'd said it was at 46, you'd be fucking ecstatic. Same thing with Ethereum, same thing with XRP. So again, not great by any means, but the stock market is also down. So there's probably a lot of correlations there. And we just hit a bunch of all-time highs day after day. So there had to be a correction, and a 20% correction, bouncing back and forth. And we're still at 46,000 for fucking Bitcoin. A failed rebound above 50,000 looks to flip the level back to resistance as 47,000 becomes a new price focus. Bitcoin has extended its losses on February 23rd as selling pressure took markets below 47,000 for the first time in over a week. Data from Cointelegraph Markets and TradingView painted a gloomy picture for bulls on Tuesday as Bitcoin to US dollar hit lows of 45,000 on Bitstamp. The losses reverse a rebound that halted Monday's 20% price crash from all-time highs near 58,000. Bitcoin bounced at 47,400 on the day to return to 54,000 before a fresh dip took hold. At the time of writing, 47,000 was acting again as some form of focus for support, with the trajectory still unclear amid heavy volatility. Analysts' analysis of buy and sell positions produced little hope for stemming losses should that level fail, with support lacking below 46,500. For analysts, however, even the prospect of a more serious retracement has nothing to fear. Compared to previous price dips, the current one was a drop in the ocean. We've experienced 2018 and 2019. This is nothing. Michael, my boy, Mikhail, I'm going with Mikhail, Van de Poppy summarized to Twitter followers. In an accompanying YouTube update, he forecast that should bears take hold, Bitcoin would be in for what is classic behavior for the month of March, which traditionally sees corrections, as we touched on yesterday. Approaching bounce region for Bitcoin, I think we're close now. So again, we're not going to kind of hang here too long. We have this chart here where, again, even in February, we were under 40K. At the beginning of this month, we were under 40K. We went up to almost 60. So even if we drop down to 35K, we're fine. The numbers are still in our favor. It was 10K around this time last year, I believe. So, I mean, we eat the Ides of March, we hang out until the summer, and then summertime comes and we go straight back up to the moon. And I still believe that we'll be close to 100 by the end of this year. It's only February. On to our local story. NJ marijuana legalization is official. Governor Phil Murray signs legal weed into law. New Jersey on Monday officially became the 13th state to legalize marijuana as Governor Phil Murphy signed into law 3 bills putting into effect a ballot question overwhelmingly supported by voters last year. New Jersey becomes the first mid-Atlantic state to eschew. Why do we have to throw in words like eschew decades of weed arrest in favor of a program long touted by social justice activists? It marks the end of tens of thousands of weed arrests annually and the beginning of a cannabis industry that could be an economic boom for the state and region. So I kind of want to touch on that real quick. Do I think that minorities have been unfairly arrested more than others? Probably. Do they use weed or the quote-unquote scent of marijuana to search people and arrest people? And do minorities end up being arrested more than whites? Sure. Do I think that something that we voted on has to come across as some sort of gift to minorities from the all-powerful government? No. The people voted to legalize weed because the people wanted to legalize weed. Okay? First of all, the politicians couldn't even get their act together the first time and do it themselves. So the people voted on it. And it had some sort of correlation with social justice, but it shouldn't be like a carrot that you're giving to fucking people. Well, here you go. You guys can smoke some weed now, and we'll take a little bit of the top for fucking, state impact zones where people got arrested for weed more likely than others. I don't love it. I really don't. Should we take care of those impact zones? Sure. But acting like the government is going to let us do this just so that, it's for the people and we've been so shitty against the people so far, so we're going to let fucking smoke weed. Honestly, to at some point, it's like, well, the fucking minorities want to do drugs. Might as well let them and give back a little bit. I think people should be able to fucking do what they want. But this idea that New Jersey and the government and the governor himself are throwing the fucking minorities this fucking, this big lifeline, it's just not true. The people voted for marijuana to be legal, and that's it. The government had nothing to fucking do with it, and they actually fucked it up multiple times prior. New Jersey's broken indefensible marijuana laws, which permanently stained the records of many residents and short-circuited their futures, disproportionately hurt communities of colors and social justice or otherwise, are no more. Okay, bud, they're no more because of the people, not because of you. You guys went to fucking do this 2 years ago and you couldn't do it. You couldn't get the fucking government together to get their shit together and pass it. So the people had to pass it. And now you're taking responsibility for something you had nothing to fucking do with. In their place are laws that will usher in a new industry based on equity, which will reinvest. If the laws that we had were so fucking horrible, why didn't you change them a long time ago? And yes, we are fulfilling the will of voters by allowing adults to use cannabis while having in place common sense measures to deter its use among kids. Oh, are you? Oh, great. Thanks. The law signed Monday allow the possession and use of marijuana by anyone over 21 years old within the state of New Jersey. The laws also allow purchase and sale of legal weed at states licensed dispensaries, though it could be well over a year before recreational sales even begin. Some marijuana offenses will remain criminal, We're going with the bills we just signed. We'll leave it at that, Murphy said in reference to someone talking about growing marijuana. So you cannot grow your own marijuana as of right now. I appreciate the folks who have reached out on that front, but we're going with what we've got. Distribution of up to 1 ounce of weed will be penalized with a written warning on a subject's first offense, so you can still sell an ounce of weed. The new laws capped 3 months of legislative debate over the rules of regulations for legal weed. More than 2/3 of New Jersey residents backed the marijuana ballot in question in November, but the constitutional amendment put forth by the referendum could not take effect until such rules and regulations were put in place. The Vote Yes campaign, dubbed NJ Can 2020, was led by officials from the ACLU who ran digital advertisements. Live events were dismissed due to the pandemic, educating voters on the negative effects of simple low-level marijuana possession arrests and millions of tax dollars spent on prosecuting these cases. Okay, so this is what I will kind of end with on that. Again, I am a big proponent on the time for changing the law is not after you've broken it. Period. So, like, the people getting arrested for fucking pot, do I think it's a terrible fucking thing? No, not really. Do I think it's good for kids to be fucking running around smoking pot? No, I don't. I think it really hurts motivation. You get stuck on it. I think kids below 24, 25, 26, their brains have not grown up enough to really, to be able to deal with those things, and their brain is still physically growing, and I think those things hamper it very heavily. But, having weed is illegal. If you get caught or got caught with weed, it is what it is, babe. If you want to take that fucking fight to the fucking Supreme Court and legalize weed, by all means, go for it. And we've done so now. But complaining about getting arrested when something is illegal, it's just what it is. You have people online making comments like, "Oh, do I get my expungements and do I get all my attorney fees back and all that shit?" Like, no. When that shit happened, it was illegal. That's it. I don't love how, states' cannabis laws can set a new standard for what justice can look like. So then you should have fucking done it. If they were so atrocious, then why haven't you changed them prior to the fucking people doing so? Anyhow. Hopefully this will set everything straight. Because it's 2021, The Undertaker has endorsed The Rock for president. Now, I actually hope he does run for president. I was not super fucking happy when he endorsed Biden and Kamala, but it's what it is. He probably would run as a fucking Democrat anyway, or maybe an independent. I doubt he would run as a Republican. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson may be the president that we never knew we needed, according to his old pal, The Undertaker. Mark Calloway, aka The Undertaker, believes that the wrestling champion turned Hollywood heavyweight could add a new title to his already impressive resume, per TMZ Sports. The Undertaker endorsed his former nemesis from the Squared Circle for a position in the Oval Office, saying that Johnson could be the uniter that the people are looking for if he decided to run for president. I kind of agree. And if you saw the Undertaker interview on Rogan's podcast, he's pretty conservative, bud. He's a Texas guy through and through, and basically with all that comes with that. That man works his tail off and he dives in wholeheartedly in everything that he does. And if he gets his mindset that he wants to make a run in politics, you know what? I think he'll do it, The Undertaker told the outlet. The Undertaker seemed confident that his pal wouldn't have to put up much of a fight in the presidential election. When asked if he thought Johnson could help to mend the political divide in America, he said, "I think so. He's so charming. He's so witty. I think that he could be a uniter that the people are looking for. I know that he has the charisma. Maybe all it would take would be one eyebrow." I don't even know how he did that. Like, I can almost do like the old like booby press, like the big jacked guys can like flex one booby at a time. I don't know how you do like the eyebrow thing. I guess because he did kind of this with the face too, so it automatically goes up. I don't know. So that one's in the bag for Johnson, who previously confirmed that a foray into political arena wouldn't be out of the question for him. So I'll kind of just end and wrap up everything with this. We're at 20 minutes now. I'm kind of with it, bro. I think The Rock should run for president. I think he's not super liberal. He has a lot of conservative values, but he also has a lot of liberal values. And I would almost hope he would run as an independent. I don't know if he would. Now, he has the money to do so. And the reason I say so is because I think the parties would ruin him. The Democrats would ruin him. The Republicans would ruin him. And then whichever party he went with, the other party would fucking ruin it as well. So we would never be able to come together as a country for a Republican or a Democrat because those names are just toxic now. And that's why we need new parties or no parties. Just have people run independently. We don't need parties anymore. The Rock's got more money than the fucking DNC could fucking wish for. Maybe he should just run by himself. No more parties. Let's start with that. Eliminate all political parties. Everyone just run independently. We'll see how that goes. I'll see you guys tomorrow.